Hey everyone, how are you? I'm getting better, I think, but I am going to get a COVID test today. So, this is an afternoon class, but I do the recordings in the morning or the day before sometimes. This time it's this morning. But we're going over part four and this one is short, I promise. But this way we start the new year in with healthy relationships or the possibility of a healthy relationship. And so we've gone over a lot of things that I've said, a bunch. Basically, making sure that the person you're with isn't involved with anybody else, first and foremost. The signs of a healthy relationship, or things you can tell if you're in a healthy relationship once it starts. And then some red flags for relationships. Pardon me, so that's three. This last one is about questions you can ask yourself. Kind of a test. And I can always send you the link that Healthline has if you would like it, so you can look over and answer these questions. But I'll kind of go over them and interject, of course, my personal um, thoughts on it, or what I think. But then I also want you all to be able to, kind of have these questions to ask yourself when you do start a relationship. Because this information, once we're finished with it, it'll still be on YouTube, so we can go back to it. It's the Healthline Healthy Relationships, 32 Signs, Tips, Red Flags, and more. Okay, so here are some questions to ask yourself. Now, not all relationships are the same. All of them are different and unique in their own way. Um, However, if you're looking for guidance on whether your relationship is healthy, there are a few questions to ask yourself. It's kind of a self-test. So, is your relationship healthy? So ask yourself these things. Does my partner encourage me to grow? That's an important question. Do they want to see you branch out and do better things for yourself? Do they encourage that? Do they say, yes, keep going, I appreciate it? Or do they hold you back? Secondly, do we share goals for the future? These are always good to discuss. The kind of the typical relationship question. Where do you see this going? And sometimes that's a tougher question than you think, because sometimes you'll have one idea or no idea, and they'll have a definite idea, or they have no idea. So, next one is, do we want the same kind of relationship? And this is a good question for any moment. Maybe somebody's been afraid to say, actually, I just want to be friends. Or I want to live with you. Or I don't want to live with you, but I still want to be in a relationship. What kind of relationship? Next one is very important. I think this is more of a question for yourself, which all of these are, but can I be myself with them? I'm hoping you're yourself with pretty much everybody, but I know some people put up guards and they're like, I'm not going to tell everybody everything. I'm a little different. I'm kind of an open book. I just am myself, but I want my partner to also feel like that they can be themselves as well. And that's the next question. Do I accept them for who they are? That's an important question. And do we give and take from each other fairly equally? So there's nothing equal in this world. I hate to say it. We strive towards as close to equality as we're ever going to get. But nothing will ever be equal. It doesn't balance out. That old Shakespearean question, a pound of flesh, no more, no less, no bone, no cartilage, but only flesh. But it's a very hard thing to get exactly exactly that, or to draw a perfect circle. So nothing's ever going to be equal. But is that what you're trying to do? Like, you see them doing more work, do you feel it upon yourself that I should probably be doing more because I can see them doing a lot? So go from there. Uh, is your life better with them in it? That's a very good question. If it's worse, then it's time to move on. If it's better, and not just because they're there, um, but if it's better, then yeah, you should. You should definitely. That's a great question to ask. And does your time have meaning when you're together? So, that's a good question to ask yourself. Because if it's meaningless time, then maybe you need to find something to do together or really rethink your relationship. But so, just a few more things. So, tips for building a stronger relationship. If some or several of the relationship red flags struck home, and these are for people in a relationship, but if you've been in past relationships and you remember those red flags and they struck home, uh, there is couples counseling. Um, most places have it between your two insurances, hopefully. So couples therapy is about two people arriving to work on themselves, which is what the doctor says. Getting help doesn't mean you failed. It means you want to work on improving for yourself and for each other. And then next one is embrace each other's differences. They might be ambitious while you're not, or you're more of a homebody. It happens that way sometimes. Um, but this could be a good dynamic since one of you can initiate activity, go out on an adventure, while the other one of you enjoys quiet time and keeps at home with the fire burning. So yeah, I mean, embrace those differences. Um, I know that between Melanie and I, like when we're out, I'm more of an extrovert. When we're at family gatherings or parties, I'm kind of the loud one, always trying to have a good time. She, on the other hand, is more. She's more laid back, and she has. Well, we're just different that way, but we definitely embrace. We know that at some point, as you kind of break up, you go around and see family members. That you always come back together and be like, how's everything going? And it's a good thing. And always consider their perspective. That's another tip. Be curious about the way they do and see things. Yeah, that is really important. Consider their perspective. They might know a lot more than you give them credit for. It is so true. Um, oh, got lucky. I'm missing a page. So that's yeah. There's so many things that I keep discovering, and probably will forever. So also solve problems as a team. If something goes wrong in somebody's life or within your lives, yeah, do it together. Ask what you want and be ready to listen to their desires. And that's a true sign. That's a good tip. Try something new together. It's always a good thing. Go someplace, a show, a play, um, some music, concert, things like that you've never seen. Try that. And always is talk about your goals and dreams. Now, the bottom line at the end of the day, you should trust each other and feel safe together. You shouldn't believe in your ability to learn and grow together. Oh, you should believe, not shouldn't. Why did I say that? And that's the main thing where it really comes down to is the bottom line is you need to trust your instincts. What are your instincts, and your family and friends, what are they telling you? Take all these things into account, but ultimately it comes down to you. Do you really like this relationship? Is this relationship something that's healthy for you ultimately? If it is, continue with it. If it's helping your life, please continue with it. You might have found the love of your life. If it's not and it's damaging, and like I said, every relationship's going to have its up and downs. There's no perfection. There's nowhere near perfection. You're going to argue about weird things. That's getting to know each other. We argue about things as well as friends, as co-workers, as people that you meet throughout your life. People argue, but it doesn't mean they don't like each other. It doesn't mean there's different types of love as well. There's friendship love, there's romantic love, there's like religious love or love of God and things like that. There's all sorts of different love relationships that people have. But when it comes to these interpersonal relationships, they have their ups and downs and swings and that, but you always figure out more from it. And usually when you come back and say, I'm sorry we fought, or yeah, I wish that had gone a different way. Well, how do we make a change and so this doesn't happen in the future? But that's the last thing. The bottom line is trust you. What's best for you? If you're not happy in a relationship, how are you going to make that relationship better? It might be a tough road to go down. Probably will be. Anyway, this is it. Sorry, I went from 2 classes to 4. Well, that's it. And Happy New Year, everyone. Be safe. Mask up. Socially distance. All that stuff. Just keep safe. Next few weeks might be a little rough now. Now I'm off. Speaking of which, to go get my COVID test. Alright. Have a good one, y'all. Ciao for now.